So I know your formal installation is Friday, but you've already been in the role for a little while. What do you see as your biggest accomplishments so far? What are you most proud of?
You know, Sarah, I'm really most proud of the fact that we've had quite a bit happening on campus, as we always have. I came in the middle of a school year. It's gone smoothly, more or less. There's always a lot happening on campus, but we launched these working groups that are advancing our strategic plan in 4 key areas around artificial intelligence, around enrollment, around applied sciences, and around the physical master plan for the campus. Those reported back at the beginning of August. That's pretty quick work in the academic context. And so I'm proud of the progress that we've made with the working groups. And then the hard part starts now with the implementation and the execution. Also, it's just been a lot of fun being here for this first fall semester as Chancellor. I'm a freshman also. It was a lot of fun waiting in line out here at the old well with the students on the first day of classes, waiting in line to take a sip at the old well here, and going through a lot of things with the first year students for the first time.
And I wanted to ask about enrollment. I know there's been discussion about increasing the size of the student body here at Carolina. Do you think that you all have the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure for that to be possible?
So everyone who lives here knows how quickly our state is growing. Carolina hasn't grown very much over the years. So every year we enroll a decreasing percentage of North Carolina's high school graduates. We used to be around 5%, now we're around 3.5%. And if we don't do anything, if we don't grow, that number will continue to fall as the state grows and Carolina stays stable. So we have to look at growth. Any growth we would have would be incremental over time. We can't grow quickly. You walk through Lenore Dining Hall now at lunchtime, you realize that a lot of our facilities are already pretty crowded. Housing, parking, faculty workload, the implications for the town of Chapel Hill, all of the implications are significant. And so any growth we undertake, and we haven't made any decisions, would have to be measured growth over time.
Do you think UNC would have to acquire additional property, even maybe outside of Chapel Hill, similar to NC State getting Centennial Campus?
I don't think so. We already own quite a bit of land around Chapel Hill, including about 800 acres up at what we call Carolina North, the old Horace Williams Airport property, other acreage around Chapel Hill. So we have the land to do what we want to do and need to do. And importantly, that land can also help address the affordable housing challenge in Chapel Hill. As you know, the mayor is an affordable housing expert. She ran on an affordable housing platform. We share the objective of trying to address the affordable housing needs here in Chapel Hill. And fortunately, our land can help solve some of those problems.
And then for tuition, I know there's also been discussion about tuition and possibly raising tuition for out-of-state students in particular. What do you think about that? What do you think UNC needs to do to remain affordable but also not operating in the red?
Our in-state tuition has been flat now for 8 years. That's in nominal terms. That means in real terms, it's gone down in price by about 20% over those last 8 years. I'm not sure there's anything else you can buy that's gone down in price by 20% over the last 8 years. We're proud of keeping tuition flat. I know everyone in the UNC system and in the General Assembly is proud of keeping our in-state tuition for North Carolina's families flat in real terms, flat in nominal terms, going down in real terms. And so we're going to keep a Carolina education as affordable as possible for North Carolinians. We give away $200 million a year in financial aid through our Blue Sky Scholars Program, the Tar Heel Guarantee, the Carolina Covenant, a remarkable array of programs designed to make a Carolina education as affordable and as accessible to everybody. For out-of-state students, we don't see any reason not to charge what it costs and to charge what our peer institutions charge. If we didn't do that, North Carolina's taxpayers would be subsidizing these out-of-state students. So we're always going to benchmark our out-of-state tuition against our peers and make sure that we're roughly keeping pace.
And that will mean likely an increase for out-of-state students?
I think you'll probably see an increase for non-resident, non-North Carolina students. But again, North Carolina in-state tuition has been flat. I think it will continue to stay flat. And importantly, even if tuition does start to rise, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this for in-state tuition, it would have to be done at the board level. We have a guarantee that means your tuition as a North Carolinian will not go up while you are enrolled for 4 years. So any impact of any future tuition increases would be very gradual, wouldn't affect anybody, any North Carolinian here on campus now.
And I know, switching gears to more sports things, there's a study underway about the future of the Smith Center. What do you think should be the future of the Dean Dome? Do you think it should be on campus? Should it be off campus?
A lot of conversation about where we should be playing basketball in the future. We've actually played in the Smith Center longer than we played in Carmichael. Hard for a lot of people to believe, but we've been in the Smith Center about 40 years, and Carmichael was only about 20 years. Unfortunately, it's a building that has a lot of repair needs. The roof leaks. Everyone knows about the problems with the bathrooms, the concourses, the parking and the access leave something to be desired. So we need to figure out whether we renovate the existing Smith Center, do we do a large-scale renovation or more of a Band-Aid type of job, or do we build something new, and if so, where? We've got a feasibility study underway. They report back here in a few weeks. Excited to see their recommendations, and then we'll make some decisions. Whatever we do will be in the best interest of Carolina basketball. It's too important to mess with.
Do you have personal opinions on what would be best?
I want to make sure that we're serving the interests not just of today's students and fans, but of the students and fans 40, 50 years from now. When you're making this kind of investment, building this kind of facility or renovating a facility, you have to be thinking long term.
Do you think you will have the land if it were to go, somewhere else other than where it is now? Are there any particular sites that jump out at you?
All of the sites that the feasibility study is looking at are land that we already own. We wouldn't need to acquire any land.
Okay. Since you have taken office, it was January 12th, right?
That's right.
Okay, it's my birthday, so I remember. What has surprised you most about your new role, about being chancellor?
I've really just been overwhelmed. My wife Liza and I both have at the remarkable spirit of this place, the love that people have for Carolina. You really can feel it in the air. I'm so fortunate to be able to look out here at the old well every day, see the students taking their pictures, see them showing their grandparents around, see people lined up at graduation to take pictures with their robes. My predecessor told me that he saw marriage proposals out here, but the remarkable spirit of Carolina, the love that people have for the institution. We just had this morning an event for the long-serving employees. We had 4 employees who have been here 50 years, 2 employees who have been here 55 years. I'm 55 years old, and we have people who have worked here at Carolina more than 50 years. That kind of long-term commitment, long-term dedication, that's part of what makes this such a special, such an unusual place.
What is the biggest challenge that you think UNC is facing right now?
Well, we have challenges, of course, everywhere you look. I'm confident that every chancellor who has sat in this office has wrestled with what seemed like at the time really difficult challenges, in some cases probably felt like insurmountable challenges. But Carolina has always overcome those challenges. We celebrate on Friday our 231st year, 231 years since the cornerstone was laid right out here at the Old East building, the dormitory out this window. And Carolina has always overcome, always persevered, and I'm confident we're going to do that for the next 230 years and beyond. We have challenges, of course. Everywhere you look, it's an uncertain time in higher education, but we have very strong demand for Carolina education. Our applications went up almost 19% over the last 2 years, 68,000 applications for the class of students who are here on campus now. And so most universities around the country would happily trade whatever problems we think we have here at Carolina for the challenges that they face. We are extremely well positioned.
And since you are still relatively new in this role, I guess, do you want to, introduce yourself to people who may not be familiar with you and your background? And similarly, are there any, things that you think are misconceptions about you that you want to set the record straight on?
I'm not an academic, and I didn't come from academia. I've never tried to pretend otherwise. I have a tremendous respect for what the academics here do, and my job is to make sure that they have the resources they need to continue to do their jobs as well as possible. My hope and my belief is that I can combine my background in management, in administration, in budgeting, in finance, with the exceptional academic talent that's already here.
And that was one of the criticisms before you took over, people concerned about that lack of an academic background. Do you think you've been able to quiet some of the critics?
Academic experience is important, obviously, but we're not short on academic experience here at Carolina. We have a world-class provost, all of these terrific deans, and so I think I bring something different to the role. It's obviously, I think, relevant. My background in budgeting and finance and management and administration. I've tried as hard as I can since getting here in January to meet as many people as possible, learn as much as I can about this remarkable institution, just walk around campus as much as I possibly can, go to as many events, be as visible. There's still an awful lot of people to meet and a lot to learn. We've got 44,000 students, faculty, staff. You'll never meet all of them, but it's really been a lot of fun to try.